I'll just. Hey, everybody, it's Lindsey Baker for my Saturday show. I am so excited today to have my friend Fia here. I've got to bring her on. Fia, I am so happy to have you here today. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Lindsey, for having me. You're amazing.
Oops, where's your mic?
Sorry. Excuse me, I'm blonde.
That's okay. You know what? I don't have my earbuds. I'm blonde too.
But very blonde, so I can just go like sign everything, and people be like, in sign language, Fia's very blonde.
That's good. I was saying I don't have mine either.
Oh, okay.
They're around. That's so crazy. I think they're over there, but I don't think I need them. If it starts popping, I'll grab them.
Okay.
That's the reason we wear them. But anyway,
I wanted to go back and say thank you, Lindsey, for having me on the show. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming on. And I want everyone to please share this video because Fia is going to talk about a lot of amazing stuff. She's been involved in so many different types of activism. She has her own foundation. It's amazing. And that's called Global Guardian Designs. And we are going to put the link up. I'll have the link up in the comments, but also we'll put the link up later in the description. I think it works better for the search engines that way. That's why we do it that way. Okay. But Fia, tell us, how did you become vegan? You weren't born vegan, you told me. So how did you become vegan? We want to hear your story.
Well, I certainly was not born vegan. I was born of a carnivore. I'm just kidding. I don't get into my mom, but
did you say carnivore?
My mother is a carnivore. No, I'm just kidding.
Carnivore.
She is a carnivore, yes. So omnivore is she liked to refer to herself as. But anyway, so no, I grew up, my family, bacon and eggs in the morning, and a lot of all that meat and everything, and it was like the lamb for Easter. Barbecues and hot dogs and all that stuff. And as a little girl, I didn't really, I've always been ever since I was little, I've just been such a huge animal lover, always rescuing animals, and my mother yelling at me, "Get that damn chicken out of the house." It was like, Mom, she's trained. She knows her name,
Wow.
I had a chicken that could scat. I named her Louie after Louis Armstrong because I'd say, "Louie, Louie," and she'd go, "Lou, Lou, Lou, Lou," like that. She was awesome.
I believe that. I had a parrot that would sing and dance Jungle Boogie. But I just wanted to say you have been involved in so many things. You've worked with the Humane Society of U.S. to protect seals. You've been involved in the Canadian sea hunt. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes. Well, I wasn't involved in the Canadian seal hunt. I've been very involved in, I know this is your to say that, but very involved with Humane Society for about 7 years, helping them to raise awareness on a campaign called the Protect Seals campaign. And how I got involved in that. And that was kind of the bit that the spark, the seedling that really, ignited for me to really jump into activism. I had just moved to LA, and I got that picture of a sealer on the ice ready to club a baby seal, and the baby seal looking up. This baby seal that hasn't even had, just milk from his mother, barely being nursed. These are babies that are haven't even molted yet on the ice, about 2 to 3 weeks. And something inside of me I just got so angry, and I got so upset, but the rage turned into, how can I help? What can I do? I reached out to PETA. I reached out to AHAW, terrific organizations. And then I reached out to Humane Society, and I reached this woman, Pat Reagan. She and Dr. Grandy and Rebecca Aldworth were heading up the whole Protect Seals campaign. Rebecca Aldworth is amazing. She goes out on the ice. She documents it every year. Now she's the head of HSI in Canada. She's fantastic and has done such a beautiful job. And so basically, Lindsey, I just said, what can I do? And they said, Fia, we want to boycott the Canadian seafood industry, because that's by United States curtailing and not buying seafood from Canada will put pressure on the Canadian fisheries to decide what is more important, to sell to the fish, the snow crabs, to the United States, or to stop the seal hunt. So that's how I got involved. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And
And
yeah.
so what are some of the things that you have done in relation to that? Have you done campaigns? What have you done? Talk about that for a couple minutes, and then I want to show a video.
Absolutely. So I got involved with, so basically one of the things I was doing was I was recruiting chefs, top chefs like Scott Conant and, you know, all these different, you know, big chefs and, you know, we were talking to Wolfgang Puck and all these restaurant chains and big chefs came on board and they decided to stop buying either all Canadian seafood or you know, snow crabs that were farmed from we knew that were coming from seal hunting provinces. So it became a huge campaign with Niall Barker he was the head photographer for America's Next Top Model. He went up with Paul McCartney up to the ice. It was beautiful. And it ignited a huge campaign. And we actually, with all these restaurants, we had a Protect Seals app. You could go to seal-friendly restaurants where these chefs were not buying, had been part of the pledge. And we had the app. And so you could go to those places. And we really dropped down. I mean, the number of seals killed. I mean, IFAW has done a tremendous job. Cheryl Fink is working on that campaign, an amazing job as well. But it really was powerful. So we really put a big dent in the seafood industry, and the messaging really was amplified. And I'm really proud of what we did. And so we did a lot of videos, we did events, and we did some PSAs, and I was very effective. Now the seal hunt has gone down from they were 10 years ago they were killing, or 8 years ago, 8 to 10 years ago they were killing close to 500,000, 385 to 500,000 seals within 10 days, 12 days. I mean, it's disgusting. Skinning them alive on the ice. It's the most graphic stuff you've ever seen. The stuff that Niall Barker saw, it's Nigel Barker, not Niles, Nigel Barker, excuse me. And the stuff that he documented and stuff that we've seen with Cheryl and as well as Rebecca is horrific. But we've made some great, I believe we've made some great progress with that. I know that they're still working on it, but the number of seals killed is a lot less than what it was before. So we just have to keep raising that awareness, because nobody wants to be eating seal meat. And when I went up to Canada and I talked to the fishermen, they said the seals are not the reason we don't have any more cod, or we have a decimation of stocks. It's the overfishing. It's the lack of oversight. So that's a whole nother thing, but it's
right. And I think you can come on another time. Maybe we can get into that whole story. Yeah. Let's take a look at a video. Okay. Let's take a look at one of your other. Wow, that's really cool. I hope you don't mind that I put that copyright-free music on there. I just wanted everyone to know that it is through Epidemic Music, because I thought it helped a little bit, but that was just beautiful to see. Now, tell us a little bit about that story, if you would, about
I miss
the
all
goats.
Those guys.
Yeah, that's another story that you could spend a whole I mean, you have done so many things, and I want to try and touch on all of them. So let's hear about the goats. I'm sorry, the sheep. Remember, I called it the goat. And you have the jewelry too. We have to talk about your jewelry lines.
You're like, oh my God, we're going to throw it all together. I mean, I was talking with my manager, pitching him an idea of a show, and he's like, "What? All these animals and the rescue stuff?" And he's like, "Oh my God, Fia." I was like, "This is my life." So it's like that. So basically, Lindsay, I got into the sheep or so the whole thing with the farm animals, when I about 3 years ago, I had been living in Altadena. I had sold a house there years ago. I moved to Pasadena, and I really needed to get out of the city. And a part of me just is like, I just want to do something different. I'm still, still going in and out of the city all the time, LA and events, and I see you and we're working, but I wanted to live in a place that was more kind of farmland, more bucolic and surrounded by animals. And so I moved out to Santa Rosa Valley, and I rented a guest house from this lovely couple on their avocado ranch. They had 2 horses there, and my dog loved it. And the hummingbirds are beautiful. And I would go on these hikes, and I hiked by this this little farm, and it was I guess a hobby ranch, right? Hobby farm. And I saw this beautiful tall blonde woman with these boots, and she was surrounded by these sheep. And I was just like, oh my God, the vision of this is amazing. And so I just asked her, I said, do you mind if I come in and say hi? Because she was like, no problem. And I came in, Melissa Heron, and she was like, meet Mikey, meet, Shaquille O'Neal, meet Mama Whitetail.
yeah.
And she had names for everybody, and they all came forward. And I just was like, my heart melted. And I was like, oh my God. And then she's like, this is Red. And she was like, there's 2 big, cows that were in the small pen. My heart was sank for them. And so the owner had all these animals that they were, and goats as well, but he had about 20 or 30 sheep.
I'm sorry. I meant to hit a photograph. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
And so I can pretend I'm Mikey.
Yeah.
And so she so basically I became friends with her. She did such a beautiful job taking care of everybody. And so the owner decided that's Rowdy, who thinks he's a golden retriever. He's so cute. And so I'd never had this experience with sheep, much less, farm animals like this. And I couldn't believe how incredibly insightful, intuitive they are, how calming they are, just how smart they are, and how unforgiving they are and trusting. And so I bonded with them. I'd go there a lot would visit with Melissa and the sheep and see everybody. And then several months later, Melissa, she was telling me that the owner did not want them anymore.
We're on the air, John. Sorry. Working from home.
John, we're on the air.
John, we're on the air. If you want to come on camera and join us, talk about the Sheep Project, we'd like to have you.
Yes, we'd love to have you, John.
Sorry, Fia, go on. Keep going.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay.
This is raw live video. What can we tell you?
Hey, this is live. Folks? I wish I had, I could have my dogs talk about the sheep. Bear loved them. Anyway, So basically what happened is that the owner decided he wanted to get rid of them, because for him, it's just something that it was like a little hobby pastime. So, and he didn't want so many of them. So he was going to sell them to slaughter. And so Melissa was in tears about it. And I said, that is not happening. We're going to take these sheep. We're going to rescue them. We're going to figure out what we're going to do. And she'd come up with this idea that Melissa's a very spiritual person, had done a lot of Reiki healing, and she had such deep bonds with these animals. And so I said, let's do something interesting and therapeutic with them. So we formed the Sheep Heal Project, a 501c3, really to kind of to have these sheep be part of a healing process utilizing Reiki healers and their gifts. And so we moved them to a ranch in Moore Park, and we started doing these small little groups with people with Reiki, with
I know, I was
Suzanne
there.
Blanco. You were there, and you were amazing. And and it was, what I love about it, some of these women come in and be like, oh, I don't know if I want to get down there with, I'm going to get dirty and this and that, or I'm not sure. I don't know. I wear Uggs, and I still eat meat. And then cut to, they're lying on the ground, and it's like 3 hours later, and I'm just like, ladies, I know you love everybody and Rowdy and Cowboy, but I have to leave now. And this one woman was like, can I take Edward home? And I said, no, but just the bonding. And I saw one woman literally be in tears as she was working out some stuff with her deceased husband. And Mikey the ram held that space for her. He was just like, I love you and I support you in this moment, in his own way. And it was just, anyway, it was beautiful to see. So we were able to rescue them, and now they are on a mountain. They're in a mountain in Malibu, and that's a little bit of a, we decided that the highest good for the sheep was to have them, because they ended up kind of multiplying a little bit. That's the other in the comedy is that, I've learned I am not an expert with farm animals. I'm not the head of a barn.
But I mean, that's amazing that you've taken so many farm animals on in a diverse types of animals. What? Rhinos, pigs, sheep.
Yes, I have a rhino in my backyard.
Wait, we're not done though. What else? There's more, isn't there? What horses? What else?
So horses, I've, dogs, like so many of our
the
fellow
dog meat
activists.
trade.
Mm-hmm. I've
Been
one of my
involved
dogs
in
from the dog
seals.
So you have really, and what about Wildlife SOS?
Wildlife SOS is an amazing organization. They're just incredible. They are India's leading animal welfare organization. Kartik and Geeta do an amazing job. Nikki Sharp is the head of, she is the development director and head of Wildlife SOS here in the U.S. And she is the director. She is incredible. And they rescue hundreds. Lindsey, you were there at our last event.
Yes.
Tusk After Dusk, hundreds of enslaved temple elephants, and elephants that have been, on the street begging. And one of their incredible stories is with Raju, an elephant that they saved years ago. He was in a really horrible situation, begging and on the street, and they rescued him. And when they took the shackles off his legs, he actually started to cry. So there's a very famous story. He has a story about him, and his his story has, it's been shared virally all over the world. But Wildlife SOS also, they rescue leopards from wells that have fallen down 250 feet into wells. They mitigate a lot of the.
How about we get them on here? How about we get them on a show?
You really should get, yes.
No, you have to come back on.
Oh,
and we do a whole show on that.
That would be amazing. Kartik he is just incredible. And Katie Cleary has done such a beautiful job of partnering with them.
Yes.
As well, to help rescue some of these elephants and raise the awareness with the Refuse to Ride campaign, which is a big thing that they're doing. Really getting people, when they go to India, do not ride an elephant. Don't ride them. Don't ride them. So we're really
just talk for a minute, Fia, about what it takes to get an elephant, if you would, please. What it takes to get an elephant to be under that kind of submission, what they do to make them submit and all. Talk about a little bit of that, if you would.
I mean, I will let Kartik, when they come on, talk more about that extensively, because that's not my specific purview, my expertise. And I don't want to speak out of make a mistake about the process. But what I do know is that it's a torturous process in which they get the baby elephant to submit. They take the baby from the mother, and they beat the baby into submission. I believe it's called Punjab or something like that. And it's breaking the elephant's spirit, so that they fear the owner. They fear being beaten. And they have bull hooks and all these things that they do to scare them. So and then the shackles have spikes on them and everything else. It's a terrible process. People don't realize, when I've talked to people, like, I got this picture on the elephant, and I just said, you can't do that. You know what you're doing. Even people that are going and taking pictures with baby, with lions in South Africa and things like that. I mean, none of my friends are doing that, but when I see that on social media, we have to stop that. And what's happening with the elephants is just, it's abusive. But the problem is that we're dealing with a cultural thing, and it's also a religious thing, because a lot of the Ganesh is the elephant god. And a lot of people feel in India, when we pray to a temple, we give homage, we give money to Ganesh, to the temple elephant. It's royalty, it's power. It's also every temple, powerful temples have many temple elephants, and people want to get married with elephants. So I think Wildlife SOS does a beautiful job of really, respecting the culture in India, but also impressing upon people that we can do something.
And we do want to say that. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we do want to say that we do respect Indian culture, and we want to have that respect, but also there's a compassionate way to do that.
That's right.
So, anyway, just wanted to add that.
Yeah, exactly. Ride a bike. Don't ride an elephant. So that's what when you see these organizations that are where you can walk with the elephants, and like what Lek is doing in Thailand. I would love to go over there. I don't think I'd ever return though, Lindsey. Maybe we can go together. It's just a beautiful opportunity.
Why do you think you wouldn't return? Or do you want to stay?
Yeah, I'd want to stay with the elephants. Yeah, when I was in South Africa visiting David Sheldrick, I just was like, do you think I could stay for a couple of nights? The guy was like, are you ready to feed the baby elephant every 2 hours? And I was like, well, let me come back.
I'm trying to find the video here. You have it's of a rhino. Which organization did you do that one with?
So I've been very involved with VetPaw, which is Veterans Protecting African Wildlife, terrific organization headed up by Ryan Tate, who's a veteran himself. And these are veterans that highly trained, skilled veterans that are repurposed to go over to Africa, and they protect parks in Africa, and specifically now in South Africa, where they are. Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Let's try and play this first.
Yeah.
It's not it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Tell us about that.
That was amazing, Lindsay. That was amazing. Have you ever touched a rhino before, Lindsay?
I don't believe so. Hopefully not, because that would mean I would have done it in a zoo, right? Or
oh no, well then again, some ex-boyfriends of mine. No, I'm just kidding. I was like, please, honey, would you exfoliate, please? Thank you.
oh my gosh, that's bad. I've never had that, but
put cocoa butter on yourself, vegan cocoa butter. Okay.
Yeah.
So I went to, so that was a trip I took last April, and I went to South Africa, and I was with the team with VetPaw for about 10 days on one of the reserves that the guys were protecting. And it's 24-hour patrols, and they were protecting a bunch of, we can't tell how many or where the reserve was, obviously for security reasons, but they have quite a few black rhinos and grays as well. And it was just an incredible experience. That picture is from, we had to sedate a black rhino, the black rhino, excuse me, she had her horn. So a lot of these rhinos have full horns, which makes it even more of a threat of them getting poached. So a lot of the grays a lot of the gray rhinos, they had been dehorned, but this particular one of about a handful, we had to collar her. We had to put a new collar, a tracking system, so the reserve owner and our team could track her at all times and know where she was on the reserve. So that's what the monitoring system, the tracker, the actual the monitor thing, ankle bracelet we were putting on her. And so, yeah.
I'm sorry, how do they sedate her?
Well, that was pretty intense, Lindsay. So basically we're watching from the vehicle, and then they had the helicopter, reserve owners in the helicopter. And then they had a guy with a tranquilizing gun swooping down, and she's running away because she's afraid, right? Running through the brush, and came down and darted her. And then the sedation happens pretty quickly. So then we kind of ran, and I was in charge of giving her oxygen, which was very exciting. So like, put it up her nose. And so sorry, I just get emotional thinking about it because, sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't worry, you're making me get emotional.
Because, anyway, sorry.
No, tell us why. Tell us why.
I'm getting emotional because so many of these animals are poached every year.
Yeah.
And so she went down pretty quickly, and they got the collar on her. They had the vet come in and everything. And I just, the whole experience of actually touching her, I've never, sorry, hold it together, Fia, think of comedy, right? Because Rocky makes me laugh. I'll tell you back in a second. But just the experience, it was so powerful of seeing this animal her life is hanging in the balance. It's in the balance right now. And she's lying fully sedated with a full horn. Just that whole snapshot of the reality of what we're dealing with is the amount of these rhinos that are poached every year for their horn, which is worth more than gold. And her just lying there and being able to touch this animal that you could never get close to. I mean, so, it was just very a moment where I was like, oh my God, we have to do something. The numbers of these animals is just dropping exponentially every single year because of greed. And because the other thing that was really struck me is that you never know who's on the inside. From talking to the reserve owner and different people, I mean, any minute somebody could give an intel and turn and talk about where an animal could be and poaching. there's so many moving parts that an organization like VetPaw has constantly being out there getting bits of information to to watch and protect these animals. So it was very powerful. Once we got the tracking bracelet on her, they gave her a shot to make her, it was to reverse the sedation. She got up pretty quick, and it was like a scene from Jurassic Park where it was like, run. So
Oh my gosh.
it's pretty intense, but she was just, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like, okay, I'm really running now. I've done, this is a good cardio workout when you have a black rhino. That's like, so the guys, it was really funny to see the VetPaw guys. They were like, like $1 million man, but it was just, it was a moment I'll never forget. A moment and when Ryan told me, he said, Fia, you're going to be helping, with this. I mean, I was just so blown away because they don't do this frequently. So anyway.
So you got an opportunity that is not often given to people.
No,
is that what?
It was amazing. I took
Wow, that
to
is
touch
so
a
cool.
wild rhino, a black rhino that are so rare. So rare.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. Let's watch.
Yeah.
Let's hit something else here. I think I have one more movie.
Show everybody how she eats now.
And I have another Tallulah. Let's do both.
So Tallulah will be in wonderful hands. So please be compassionate. Share the video and consider not eating animals. Stop eating bacon, please. It's not your 3 minutes of gratification is not worth a lifetime of horrific torture for them. And these beautiful animals deserve more. And they all want to live. They want to be able to sleep peacefully in the sun and be loved. Get belly rubs. Love my big T. I just was hugging her earlier.
Aww.
Tallulah, tell us about Tallulah.
Oh, Tallulah, I'm surprised you didn't have She's a Lady. Tom Jones playing. I'm going to do a little video. She's a lady.
I would.
Woo! Tallulah is a lady. She is a classy, classy lady. I love that. I swear to I said to my mom, I think Tallulah is my grandmother reincarnated. And she was like, I think you're right.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. So tell us about Tallulah. I would have used Tom Jones, but it's a copyright infringement.
I know, no. That's why I'll just saying it. She's
No, I know you were kidding.
Oh, I love Tallulah. She can twerk like nobody's business. So
Really?
basically, yeah, she's got Tallulah has a Kardashian butt. It goes like out and then down. She does this little wiggle. She's so cute.
When does she twerk? When would she twerk?
She twerks when she walks. She's got this sexy little walk. It's very, very, very cute. And you'll when you come down to see her at Steampunk, you'll see what I mean. You'll be like, she does have a sexy walk and a cute butt. Tallulah gives good butt. So Tallulah, the story of Tallulah, it was 3 years ago, and I was riding up in Moore Park, and my friend at this barn was very emotional and told me about this mommy pig. She called her mother Mommy Pig and her 4 babies that the owner was breeding, and he was slaughtering the babies. The babies at 2 or 3 months, people would come and pick them up by their ears and throw them into a truck screaming. And Tallulah, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. And that's what she saw. And so she said, Fia, you got to help me rescue these pigs. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in Pasadena at the time. And I'm just like, oh my, I don't have any resources to do this or the place, but I just said, let me come up meet them. And I'd already been at the barn and been around the horses, but I'd never seen Tallulah. So I met Tallulah and I looked at her in this dirty, cramped, dark little cage. I mean, it was a horse stall, but it was dirty, Lindsay. It just was filthy. It had rotting food in there. And I looked at her and I just knelt down and I looked in those eyes, and there was such a connection that I had with her. And she was desperately wanting to get out and needed help. And it almost like watching it's a person in there. When you look at these, you look at these pigs, they are so smart. I mean, there is a person in there, and the wheels are turning. And I said to her, I said, Gay, whatever I need to do. And I talked with the owner, and I said, I'm going to rescue these pigs. I'm going to take mommy and the 4 babies. And of course, I had a really good time kind of.
Oh, your sound is out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Can you hear me now? All right. So I said, is this thing on? All right. The owner was like, so where are you going? I was teasing him, and he's like, where are you going to take him? I said, oh, the landlord is great with my apartment. They're all going to come into my apartment. He goes, oh, no, you cannot have these pigs in your apartment. And I said, no, they're fine. She loves animals. They're fine. They're going to have them housebroken.
I love it.
No. And I said, Hiroshi, I'm kidding. They're all going to go. They're going to go to.
That's hysterical.
I was like, oh, they're just babies. They'll sleep on the bed. He goes, really? You're going to have them sleep on the bed? I was like, sure.
So this is the man that slaughters them, right?
Yeah, this is the man exactly that sells them for carnitas when they're 3 months. So I took them, and he would not give them to me, and I said, this is going to be a rescue situation. He said $250 per pig. I had to buy the pigs from him, and I did, and then I'm good friends with Susan Hartland at the Wildlife Way Station. And I said, Susan, I need a place to move them to. And she said, well, maybe we could find a place. And our dear friend, Katie Cleary, who does so much for so many causes, so many animals.
She's wonderful.
She stepped up and she helped me with the pigs. I'll never forget that. And we got them over to the Wildlife Way Station, and Tallulah, I'll never forget Tallulah twerking, walking off the trailer with her Fig Newtons, and these huge Bengal tigers and lions going, "Rawr, wow, look at that." And Tallulah's like, I'm following the Fig Newton trail. I don't even notice anybody.
Fia, let's not give her Fig Newtons, palm oil.
Oh God. Oh, God. Sorry. Well,
yeah,
she's on
Fig Newton alternatives.
Oh, right. That's true. Well, she and I are both on a very strict diet, so she's not on any more Fig Newtons.
Yeah.
But she so we had her and her babies. They were in quarantine, and then so the Wildlife Way Station had them for a while, and then, as you know, the Wildlife Way Station went under, unfortunately, and they dumped the pigs. I think it was a panic situation, but which I understand things happen, but I would have appreciated a phone call. A lot of my friends were like, what's going on with your pigs? And so they were dumped in 2 high kill shelters. Tallulah went to Riverside.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we invite them on at any time.
Oh, okay. No. Anyway, to make a long story short,
and it was a desperate situation, so we don't know exactly what happened yet.
It was a desperate situation.
Yeah.
The piggies had to go to the shelter, and I'm grateful that I was able to get them out. And there was a beautiful animal control officer that loved Tallulah so much. He actually started to cry when I came to pick her up.
Yeah.
And so I'm grateful for that. And then we got the babies out of Castaic, and Tallulah went to a ranch. They're all together now. So we'll talk about that in a second. But I'm just so grateful for all the angels and people that helped us get them out and transport, and,
so
a beautiful job.
Now they're living. You've got so many different rescues you've done. Now, where is Tallulah? You just said the name of it a moment ago.
So Tallulah and her babies, her babies that are now 650 pounds each. They were this big. Now they're really big.
Do they act like their family? Do they show relationship?
The 4 of them, Sylvester and Betty, Judy, and Liza, are very close. They're inseparable. They love each other. Tallulah she's more independent, but they're right next to each other. So I do want to give a shout out to Lola Devon. She took the pigs when I had nowhere else to take them, Lindsay, and up in Ojai. And she took beautiful care of them. I didn't do it perfectly, the rescue. I'm sure that I could have done it better trying to load them and trying to, corral them. But they, at the end of the day, they were very healthy. And I'm so grateful for Crystal Tromball at the Steampunk Farms Rescue Barn.
Steampunk, that's what the name, I couldn't
Yes.
think of, Steampunk Farms.
She's amazing. She has over 100 pigs there. And I called her and I said, Crystal, would you consider taking Sylvester, Betty, Judy, and Liza? And she said, if you can get them here, I will not turn an animal in need away. And so I'm so grateful for that. We got the 4 pigs from AHAW down there. A very generous gentleman named Richard Murad, who made a $1,000 donation for their shelter and for several months of food. Just terrific. These angels, people that helped. And we got them down there safely. And then Tallulah's also down there. I also made the decision. Tallulah was at the ranch with my rescue horses, but unfortunately horses are kind of afraid of pigs. So I ended up talking to Crystal and I said, really the best thing is that Tallulah's reunited with her babies. So I drove Tallulah down on another trip with her dowry. I call it her dowry, 300 feet of fencing and her house and everything. And
how did you raise that to get that? Talk a little bit about how you raise your funding.
Well, I paid for all of that myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I paid for all that myself. Yeah, out of my own pocket. I didn't. I did raise initial funding to cover some of because the pigs were very destructive to one of Lola's one of the housing that was for her many horses, and I wanted to pay her back for that, and pay for the feed. So
Sure.
I believe that it's one thing when you rescue a farm animal. I know our dear friend Lisa Carlin will also agree with me. You have to have a plan. Where are they going to go? But then you can't just dump them on sanctuaries because they have so many animals and expenses. So I'm committing. I still pay for the pigs every month. And to me, it's worth every penny. It's not even a lot of money, and it's worth to have them happy and safe. And I'm supporting Crystal. So yeah, I was able to my savings. My accountant has yelled at me, and he said, "Fia, you can't keep doing this." But I've also used it. I just took the money, my own savings, and to pay for this because to me, it's the greatest gift of all to help these animals. They're the voiceless. So.
Well, I would love to help you raise some funds for that. Maybe we could do that. We wouldn't be able to do that on here, but we would, we could probably work some things out. You've done some great different fundraising things. How about, want to talk about that for a moment? And let's not forget, you want to talk about your epiphany.
Oh, absolutely.
So which do you want to hit on first? Because believe it or not, we only have 20 minutes left.
Oh my gosh, Lindsay, talking with you, it's just like, la, la, la.
I know, it's fun.
I tell you, if every FaceTime date with a Hinge guy could be this pleasurable, I'd be further along. I'd be closer to finding a nice guy.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole other story. But you have to tell me about that another time.
So awkward, and so it's like, watching paint dry. Okay, all right. And some of these guys, zero sense of humor. So anyway, and then I'm like, they're like, you had a what? A pig? It's like, yes, a pig. Okay. Anyway, that scares them off usually pretty quickly.
We don't need them, right?
Nah, not at all. But so the fundraising, I've been very fortunate. I learned how to do the fundraising with, with Humane Society and those campaigns. And it's just been, I worked with, on the No to Dog Meat campaign. Lori Allen and I, one of my best friends, a wonderful activist. She's amazing. She's on Jane's cooking show. She has a beautiful job there. And she and I decided we wanted to step up and do something to fight the dog meat trade and raise money. So we had our celebrity. Did you come to that years ago, Lindsay?
Which one was that?
We had a celebrity golf tournament to raise money.
I wasn't into activism years ago. I only started like 5 years ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was really fun. We had Chaz Dean there, and he pledged quite a bit of money, and every penny went to Mr. Zhao. I just sent every single penny. The head of No to Dog Meat would tell me, I want you to send it over to Vietnam. You need to send it to China. And Mr. Zhao has rescued thousands and thousands of dogs from the dog meat trade. So we paid for all their vaccinations for them, for Bordetella, everything. So it's just that was a really amazing experience. And to fundraise for them was a great honor. And I've worked with Let the Animals Live, Israel's incredible organization. I know you came to that fundraiser. Etty Altman, Yael Arkin, just incredible. I mean, the people in Israel and Tel Aviv that head up that organization are just hands down one of my favorite. They are so committed, and they are on track to spaying and neutering probably all the cats in Israel. I mean, that's what we're hoping that's happening.
Yes.
They do such a beautiful job with and all the farm animals and everything. So I did a fundraiser for them. And then I've fundraised for VetPaw. I've fundraised for many other organizations, helped Wildlife SOS, and also working with an organization called Penta Medical Recycling that's helping people, amputees globally, recycling prosthetics here in the U.S. and repurposing them for amputees globally.
I love
although
that.
it's not for animals, I know that the head of the organization would love to partner at some point to help maybe an elephant that needs a prosthetic leg. So another
Fia,
animal.
I want to jump in here because
Yeah.
we want to talk about Global Guardian Designs.
Okay.
We want to talk about your movie, Mermaid,
Okay.
award-winning
Okay.
movie.
Okay.
And we also want to talk about NARD. So
Okay.
which do you want to hit first? Let's get on to some
Okay.
of those topics.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't talk about the Epiphany, but that's okay. We can talk about that.
Epiphany. Do Epiphany now. Do
Okay.
Epiphany. Okay. Jump on
so-
Epiphany.
Okay. Years ago, I climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. I climbed it alone.
Oh my
It
gosh.
was so much fun. It was so great. I wanted to do it with some of my friends, but they're like, are there snakes over there? Are the bugs? Oh my God, are the toilets that, and I was like, no, I'm not going to, I was like, Marla, I love you, but I don't think this is for you. She goes, oh my God, a bug. If I see a bug,
I would
I'm
have
gonna
done
freak out."
it.
No,
I wish I knew you then. I wish I knew you then.
So I climbed this beautiful mountain, and it was, a friend of mine was like, you got to do it. I was like, I'm chicken little. She goes, you're going to be chicken big. So I went over there and I climbed a mountain, Kilimanjaro, for the dogs, to stop the dog meat trade. I climbed it to stop poaching, and I climbed it also for one of my best friends that was dying of cancer. And I was hoping that her cancer would turn around. And so I got on the top of the mountain, and I had this epiphany at 19,000 feet that as I was looking at the glacier that's melting, and I just got this message that said, Fia, it is about paying it forward. It's not about anything that you do or anyone. It's about helping. It's about love. It's about helping an animal. It's helping a person. It's helping the planet. And that's what your voice is here to do. That's it. That's all that matters. As a storyteller, as a writer, as a director, as an animal activist, it's collaborating with other people to help make change. And that's it. It's all about love. And that's the message I got up there. And so that was the thing that really just struck me, that it's not about me conquering a mountain or it's about helping. And I live for that. Everything I want to do as a storyteller, everything I do is all connected to either helping a cause, being part of a cause, and raising funds for a cause. It's helping the voiceless, and the voiceless is animals, definitely. And the factory farming that is just disgusting and insidious in this country. It's causing climate change, and it's helping stop poaching and blood lions and trophy hunting. And it's also helping stop human trafficking. And it's also helping, LGBTQ youth that are bullied and put down.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's the epiphany.
Yes, that was amazing. That's amazing that you had that. And I had a similar kind of thing not too long ago where it was like, when I was teaching and my students had me read the story of stuff, and I saw how our consumerism is destroying the world. And that was my path to veganism, but that's a whole other story. I do.
Beautiful.
It's an amazing thing that
I want to hear that, Lindsay.
Another time. But there's so much to talk about. Let's just check out a couple of photos here from National Animal Rights Day. Let's talk about that for a minute, because that encompasses everything you were just talking about.
Yeah. Well, I've got to say that what Ilam is doing with NARD and Kim and the whole team over there, and Jane Velez and all the things that you guys are doing at Jane Unchained to publicize this. NARD is National Animal Rights Day, where we sit in silence and we march in unison together. And it's NARDs, it's groups and communities all over the world to raise awareness about the plight of factory farm animals. And millions and millions and millions of these animals are slaughtered senselessly for meat, for ritual, for people's greed, because people feel that they have the right to kill animals. And that's picture with Lori Allen and Sheena Gao, who's an incredible activist as well. She's rescued a lot of animals from the dog meat trade. She does a lot of foster. She's helped us with the sheep. She's just a phenomenal person and a phenomenal activist and a wonderful storyteller and an incredible violinist as well. And so that picture that Nard uses to show people, to make that point and showing the innocent of these senseless killings and of these animals. Every animal matters. Every life matters. From, from a rat, animal testing, to animals that are killed for meat, to ritual animals killed for rituals. And so holding that pig was really, really upsetting just because of the rescue of Don, but also, it was very inspiring to see these young future activists amongst us, this little girl that wanted to put a rose and hold a flower and put the flower down, where she had a red carnation down on to pay homage to that animal that lost its life. So it's a very powerful. It's been growing, and I hope that more people really connect the dots. When you're eating an animal, you're taking a life. You're taking away the chance for an animal to live out their life in peace and harmony. We don't need to keep breeding pigs. We don't need to keep eating pigs, breeding cows, chickens, turkeys, everything. People need to go plant-based. And if you can't do it 100%, start decreasing. There are so many different, as we know, and you guys are doing an amazing job with Jane Unchained and all the stories, Elizabeth Alfano and everything, really giving people delicious plant-based options. So Nard is really where it's at in terms of raising the awareness and really magnifying the message that every single life matters. These animals, they are not, we see you are not invisible, and we will keep marching and talking about it and having these conversations, which I do in grocery stores. At Whole Foods got very mad at me. I was like, you can call me whatever you want, but I'm going to tell you the facts. And there was alternatives. If you're wearing fur, I'm going to talk to you about it. Rob Banks in New York is doing a great job. So not to digress, but really Nard is very powerful, and it's really ignited a global mission, right? So I'm so honored to be part of that. I was honored to be part of that.
It's coming
march.
up now.
It's coming up.
Yes, and on Tuesday we're having them on. So it's coming up very shortly, early in June. Yeah, I think it's the second, but I don't want to quote it because I don't remember. But Tuesday.
Too, being part of this is really raising awareness, and Sean Monson and everything that they're doing with Nard is really helping. And his message at the Oscars. So
that was just incredible.
Powerful.
And then going to a pig vigil was afterwards. What a thing to do. He just made a statement there that was so strong and encouraging. And I think it almost seems like it was the beginning, like, of this whole quick whirlwind of things going more and more. Now the mass media is talking about how bad meat is for you. It's coming out through every major media outlet. And telling us we have to stop eating meat. There was an article in the New York Times, I think, right, just the other day. So this is all encouraging, but still we have a long way to go. We have a long way to go. And the thing is, listen, there are so many incredible rescuers out there that I'm just so in awe of, and have these hundreds of farm animals like Crystal, just incredible people that work every single day to rescue, and my hat is off to them. And I feel so honored to know them, and I want to support them as much as I can. But we really, I think that the conversation, when you make the connection to a sheep, to a lamb like Rowdy that's in your arms, it's looking at you, that you're touching head to head chakras, or you're talking to Tallulah, you're hugging Tallulah, you start connecting the dots. And my stepfather is 86, has stopped eating pork. He doesn't eat bacon anymore because of what I told him how they die. And how they raise them. So my nieces are starting to, start going more plant-based. My little niece is starting to bake vegan cookies. I said, bake them, but don't send them to me because I need to lose weight. Oh, you're fine.
I'm still trying to work off those darn vegan chocolate chip cookies that Vanessa Marceau made.
I know.
About 6 months ago.
Oh, you're kidding. You're still eating those from 6 months ago?
No, I ate all of them. They were supposed to be Christmas presents for everybody, and I ate them all on the plane.
Oh,
and they're like, where are my vegan chocolate chip cookies? And I was like, Vanessa.
Go to the store and buy some vegan cookies and throw them in there.
Oh, my gosh. I just was like, I couldn't stop. Yeah.
So you got to talk about your jewelry and how you use it to the charities that you donate to from there.
Okay, so right now, so here I'm wearing Rocky the Rhino, who's inspired by one
Oh,
of
I
the big
love
rays.
that.
And Katie Cleary has a bunch of these with Peace for Animals, her logo on the back. So we've made a lot of these for her. You can go onto Katie Cleary's website, Peace for Animals, buy
I'm
directly
going to buy
from
one
Katie.
of those.
Buy
I'm
it
gonna
for
get one.
Katie. So, you know, and then we also have this beautiful big ring.
Got
that's
that
also,
one.
You've got that one.
I don't have it on, but I got it. It's beautiful.
It's a big ring, and it's also, you can, you know, if you see a poacher, you just go bam, you put him out really quickly with the ring.
Put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anybody hurting an
no
animal, you just
violence,
whip.
no violence.
I'm kidding. You bless the ring and say, please stop killing the elephants right now.
Yes.
Okay. And so, so we have many different options. We've got, if you go on the website, we support horse rescue, dog rescue, and you can choose. There's a drop down menu where you can choose where your 20% will go. A lot of times we also love to work with organizations that are doing fundraisers, and we just give everything wholesale to you, and then you just sell everything, and you know, you make you make the proceeds. We want, and my partner is like, we're not making any money. I said, the point is to help the charities. That's what this whole thing is about. So I've been really honored to do that.
Yeah.
I'm super busy, but to be able to, you know, Katie has gifted this to a lot of people that are supportive of, because she's very involved with Damian Manders, who's incredible.
Right.
And she's been very supportive of him and doing a lot with him. With all the female, the team of park rangers that he's training, and it's very inspiring. So we also have rhino bracelets. We've got everything. So check out globalguardians.com. Check it out. You know,
I put it in here. Globalguardiandesigns.com is in the comments.
Global Guardian Designs. There you go.
Yeah, and I'll put it. Yeah, and any other links that you want to get into, because we're rounding down. We have 10 minutes left.
Okay.
You want to talk about mermaids and bullying and. That would be a good one.
Okay. So when I'm not speaking up for animals and confronting people in markets and New York City, which is always a joy wearing fur, women wearing fur.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. New York City is always like, I always brace myself when I go back because I have to talk to everybody. Anyway, so I'm just like, do you know what you're doing? It's like, okay, you know, anyway. So when I'm not a big part of my activism, I'm also a filmmaker. I'm a director and writer, and I've had the honor of
award-winning.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I shot a short, and we've been winning a lot of awards. And the film that I'm working on right now. Oh yes, she's got a list
somewhere. No, you go. Keep going. I'm going to try and find it.
We don't need to read the list. Greta Gerwig is like, oh my gosh, Fia, please keep going on. All right. Please name some of the awards you've won. Greta is one of my inspirations. Anyway, I won Best LGBTQ film in Hollywood Real Independent Film Festival. I was awarded at Global Shorts. I'm in the finalist with that film, Berlin, which is really exciting. I get to go over, and they put my project in front of a lot of financiers. So we screened it. They screened my film at Cannes, not the Cannes Film Festival, but Cannes, in front of a very influential, group of filmmakers and directors. And so I'm in the finalists there, and a bunch of other places. I won at ISA, International Short Fest. And it's been just really wonderful. And so the biggest thing about this piece, Mermaid, is about a suicidal, non-conforming trans youth, a little boy that has identifies as a girl. It's living in the deep South with his father that has no idea what's going on. His father is recently widowed, and they're struggling. He's struggling. He does not have services. He doesn't have the resources, and to deal with this. And you're talking about a very rural, conservative area of the South. And so I wanted to write a film that really could help these children, especially in the South, where there is just a lack of understanding and compassion and tolerance for them. And a lot of these children commit suicide. So it is a beautiful story about this child that meets this African-American gay man that has a gay-friendly club, and he does drag there. And this beautiful world that he never knew existed. This child is introduced to that world. But the thing that really was part of my process as a writer, one of my writing teachers, Bill Idelson, love him, he's up there. He said, and then also Gilles Chesson, another mentor that I work with, said, Fia, you've got to love the father. Right now you're writing him because you don't like him. He's a conservative. He's somebody that you don't like. He's everything that you do not value, the tenets of his ideologies, everything else. He said, you've got to love this man. And until you love him, we're not going to really get the story. And so I really, Lindsay, I had to walk in those shoes of somebody from the other side, conservative, not understanding what it is to be homosexual, much less feel like you're in the wrong body, and the fear and not being supported. And so I really embraced that. And the father is turned out to be one of my favorite characters in the movie. So it's really, he's the character that changes the most. So we're talking to some pretty big names right now. I'm in the development process of it. And it's, as we know, the pandemic has put a kind of a pause on a lot of things, but people are reading the script and really responding, because if we're going to make this movie, and what I want to do is have grassroots activism screenings. Money is raised for the money is raised for this film. And then we will put it back to, let's help these children. Let's help them in these rural communities get help, get the support. And most importantly, the parents of these kids that are struggling, that are being shunned because, why are you allowing your kid to wear a dress or be something else if they're not? So what I saw when we did the reading was very palpable, was the loneliness that the father and the child that's being bullied, and Pepper, who's the black, the drag queen character, and then obviously Clarita, who's the club owner, how lonely and isolated all of them are, and they come together. So to me, that it's a film of activism, but it's really about love. Love transcends everything, right? And you did such a beautiful job as your artistry, helping me with the deck.
No, but I was going to say, I wish we had either a clip or some graphic, because it is a beautiful story. And the graphic, the presentation that we did together, I have to say, I really think it turned out great.
You did a beautiful job.
No, and you're, of course, it's about you. So of course,
well,
it's all about you.
It's, you know what?
It's about your film, your creativity.
It's not about me. It's about coming together with other passionate
collaboration.
And we're meeting those people and activists. And if we go through a nonprofit to help, like, the Trevor Foundation or Tyler Clementi is another amazing organization that's helping stop bullying with LGBTQ, teenagers and youth. And it's just, that's what it's about. It's that moment on Kilimanjaro, but paying it forward. And so if I come from that place, that anything is possible. When I come from a place of it's about me, it's never about me, because it's about the animals. It's about helping them. It's about helping these children. And I'm learning a lot. And, I haven't done any of this perfectly. And I've learned a lot as a writer. You can't get attached to things. Some people love it. Some people won't. Some people understand what you're doing. Right. But at the end of the day, Lindsay, we keep trying, and Mermaid is happening. So
Mermaid's happening. So we're going to follow that story too.
Oh, thank you.
And I want to have you on again. We're just about end of our time now, with 3 minutes left. But I want to have you on again with Patty Shanker and some other people about the elephants and the pachyderms in general, and all that plight, because we have so many stories we can cover, and a lot of the other stuff we didn't even touch on with you. So you definitely have to come back, Fia.
Well, Lindsay, thank you. It's been such an honor. You listening to me babble on for an hour.
And not at all.
I'm just kidding. And I'm so grateful that you're going to have Wildlife SOS on. I mean, what they do, and some of these other stories and these other activists. And I think this platform to raise awareness about what everyone's doing, because if there's something that a rescue or something that's happening, we can all come together. And that's what it's about, is collaborating and supporting each other. So I really thank you so much, Lindsay, and really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Fia, for being on, and everyone who tuned in. Thank you so much for watching. On Tuesday, I'll be covering a story on NARD. I'm going to have Kim Delgado and Christina Koo on. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And we'll see where it goes from there, folks. So thanks again for watching. Fia, thanks for coming on. Come on again soon. And I'll see you next time. Mwah.
Mwah. Thank you. Thank you.